last April for wagering on CFL games. And he's not a young guy. He's, I believe, 36. He's a free agent now. So what does this mean now that he's been reinstated? Are you surprised at all that, what seemed like a lifetime ban actually was about 15, 16 months? And what kind of market is going to be out there for him?
Yeah, I would say when a 36, soon-to-be 36-year-old defensive lineman gets suspended indefinitely, that's probably the end of his career. I would have told you that at the time. And, I think part of it was, he appealed his suspension, right? And the basis of his appeal, I believe, was essentially, I didn't know you couldn't do that. And
I didn't know you couldn't do that. Was that wrong? Was that wrong, me wagering on games?
or nobody formally told me you can't do that. That was essentially his argument, right?
What a case.
And he went and got independent representation for that. The CFLPA did not represent him in his appeal, which is pretty unusual for a guy to go outside the union and make that argument. So, look, I know the league office was not happy that he appealed, and maybe the fact that there's a new commissioner made this more possible. I think there was also a more contrite version of Sean Lemon in this case, taking counseling, accepting counseling, not talking about the arguments that he made, a year ago. But he lives in Montreal year-round. From my understanding, the Alouettes lobbied on his behalf in the background here. And they do have a degree of interest. I'm kind of surprised they haven't signed him, or they got a little while before we get to kickoff, because here's the other element of the story. He has a 2-game suspension for testing positive for a banned substance. So once he does,
no one told him that was illegal. No, to be fair to Sean, he wasn't aware that he couldn't do that.
Anyway, if they sign him in about the next hour, I think they can work off one of his 2-game suspensions tonight.
Right.
But he'll be on the practice roster a few weeks anyway. But look, I think it comes down to precedent, right? If you look at other leagues, he didn't bet against his team. He bet on his team. It was, I think, one parlay ticket where he played like a Hamilton Tiger Cat money line and a Calgary Stampeder +6 for like $100 Canadian on an offshore. So it wasn't like he wasn't throwing games. He didn't have 10 grand on the game. You still can't do it.
Right.
But, ultimately, the league didn't decide it was worth, a lifetime ban.
Okay. And listen, this is sticky. Like, the integrity of the sports stuff is sticky because everyone's in bed with gambling. Gambling's legal now, at least in the province of Ontario. And I think we all know it's going to be a ripple effect throughout the country at some point. And it certainly is down in the States. So it's a very different world than it used to be. Yet I think, if anything, more than ever, you probably have to be that much more diligent, right, Dave? Because, now, people that aren't gambling are really looking at this, wondering, what's going on in the sports world? Right? It's a different complexion today than it was 10 years ago.
Well, absolutely. And to that point about diligence, and listen, this is a real mystery around the CFL. I've had people from teams call me and say, do you know how they caught him? And I mean, not to tell me, but to ask me. Because here's the thing. Sean Lemon placed that bet with an offshore.
Right. Not
with a licensed book.
Right.
Right? So you would think, okay, if I find a book somewhere in Asia and place a parlay ticket or Europe, and because I believe the currency that he bet in was euros. So it would have been in Europe somewhere. He bet one parlay ticket on a Tie-Cat and a stamp game, and the league found it. That's what's incredible to me, is that the league found that. And
you got to bet in crypto now. You got to hide it in crypto, Dave.
Well, somebody from the team called me and said, do you know how they did it? Because I want to know, because I want to scare our young players by telling them.
Right.
Hey, don't try this, because, never mind, betting on FanDuel or one of the partners or one of the well-known licensed books. But even if you go to Europe on an unlicensed book, obviously they can find it. I have no idea how they did it, but I think that tells you there is a level of diligence that the league was able to find that.
Big time. Yeah, that is very interesting. And, yet, Sean Lemon, he's on his way back. He's got to serve one more other suspension. That'll get out of the way.
102 career sacks, man. That's and the last time he was on the field for the first 4 weeks of last season during the appeal, he had a presence. He was getting to the quarterback. So I expect he will be an Alouette very soon.
Okay. Yeah, pass rushing, man. Yeah, everyone's got to have it. You got to have it. All right, Dave. Great catching up with you, man. Appreciate you doing this.
Hey, awesome, guys. Take care. See ya.
There's Dave Naylor, our CFL insider. CFL on TSN continuing tonight, Week 7, Argos, Alouettes, and I love that defense. Hey, no one technically told me I can't do that.
Come on.
Yeah, was that wrong?
Yeah, was I not supposed to?
I
do
have
that?
to plead ignorance on this.
I have to. I mean, sorry, no one said it directly to me that I'm not allowed to do that. What a case.
Has you heard of Pete Rose?
Yeah.
Like, has he ever heard of Pete Rose?
Maybe
like,
he hasn't.
At some point, it feels not very real, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Saying that?
But if you're going offshore and betting in euros, don't you kind of know you're not supposed to do it?
Well, that's
or else you would just do it on
point.
FanDuel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you go down, you know, you're playing, if you're on FanDuel, you're going down and play a pro line ticket or something like that.
Like,
That's
you're
different.
calling Klaus in Germany saying throw
Right.
5 hunch on the Argos tonight.
Yes, exactly.
But it's like, do you go to? I shouldn't go to a Coldplay concert and be cuddling my mistress during whatever.
No one told
song.
him he wasn't supposed to do that.
Is that not okay? Is that not alright?
Evidently it's not.
Imagine the conversations they would have been having. Like, fix you. They're going to play fix you, and I'm going to have my arms wrapped around you, and it's going to be great.
That's our song. That's our song.
That's our song. That's the affair song. Everyone knows that. You're having an affair. That's the song that everyone loves.
Oh, could you imagine
just-
that feeling in your stomach when that camera flashes on you?
The second it went on, you could see him just squirm.
Yeah.
Like the Coldplay guy, he just starts squirming. And now it's just blown up. Like the guy's backstory, the woman's backstory, what's going on with it too. I guess they had another colleague that was right beside them, and she was kind of laughing and
she was
squeamish.
the HR disciple.
Well,
Apparently.
she knew what was going on. Clearly,
Yeah. The one of the best things I saw on Twitter among all the great tweets is, well, who holds HR accountable now? HR is holding everyone accountable.
Well, that could you? That's the best part. Like, someone in that business, like, got a slap on the wrist for doing something they weren't supposed to do, and the HR woman came down and said, like, "What do you think you're doing?" And now that guy's like, "Are you kidding me? You're with the CEO at the Coldplay concert. Like, what are you yelling at me for? I'm just trying to get by here." And this is like the whole company. I can't even imagine what work. Imagine the group chats last night. That company and the CEO and the head of HR were hooking up at the Coldplay concert.
Yeah, and they're out of sync. They're swaying out of sync to the music. Now, if we show that one more time, is that Mitch Marner who pops up in the background with the glasses on?
It might be.
It's his doppelganger. You can see. So here they are. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Then this guy's got his hands up in there. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mitchell Marner.
There's Mitch.
No, this is it right here. This is him.
Right there, 93 for the Golden Knights.
He's fired.